In this video right here, I'm going to be breaking down the exact creative structure, creative strategy that you could follow to copy and paste within your business. This is conceptual, breaking down exactly how creative works in the Andromeda updates, how you can create new creative concepts and still create iterations that are successful. I'm breaking everything down right here, from what to make, the number of creatives you need to make, the concepts that you can create, and then how to actually explore and expand on those concepts from A to Z, plus a whole lot more. So stick around and let's get right into it. So first things first, I want to give everyone a very simple rule of thumb for how many creatives they should actually be running. So for your number of creatives, it's actually a very simple formula. For every 10K that you spend in ads, you want to create one ad per week. Really simply put, that means spend 10K, make one ad per week. If you spend 100K per month, you want to make 10 ads per week. Yes, if you spend $500,000 per month, then you in fact want to create 50 ads per week. This is a very simple fundamental baseline that you can work off of. If you're only spending or less than $10,000, then sure, running 2 ads or 5 ads or 10 ads is going to be fine for you. But this is just what we want to create to continue to sustain the ad account, to move it forward. Creative fatigue is at an all-time high. We always want to make sure we have enough shots on goal, which is our ad creatives per week, per ad spend that we have. The next thing we need to figure out is what creatives do we actually produce. If you've never run an ad before, you're starting from scratch, stick with me for about 30 seconds. But if you have run ads before, then what you're going to look at is your incremental attribution, specifically for new customers. So you're going to go into your ad account, you're going to look at incremental attribution for new customers, and then from there, this is going to tell you what ads are actually performing the best. And the reason we use incremental and new attribution together is because everything else, engaged audiences, existing customers, non-incremental attribution, things like 7-day click, 1-day view, they typically overcompensate for what's actually happening in the business performance. Incremental and new attribution are going to be the clearest picture to what's actually driving net new incremental purchasers. This does not mean that you use this as your bidding strategy. All this means is you're using it for analyzing which creative to actually run. That then gives you your top ads. From your top ads, you're generally going to notice a few things. For most advertisers, you're going to notice that you have similar concepts. So what you're going to notice when you evaluate your top ads is that you're going to find at least one concept that works well. What you want to do over time is stack high performing concepts. Now this sounds really simple. Of course, you want to stack good ads. Everyone does. But what I really mean by this is when you analyze your top ads, you're going to see one core concept. We're going to move that core concept all the way up to here. Once you find a winning concept, a winning angle that works for you, your job is to create more of number one. You're going to create dozens of variations of number one. Your literal objective here is to stack number ones as many times as you possibly can. Now, what about number two and what about number three? That's called home runs. We want to take home run swings from time and time again. But with your top ads, you're starting with a one core concept and you're ultimately creating as many iterations or variations of that concept. Now, I don't want everyone to get confused about something, because what everyone used to do is they would take an iteration of concept number one. All they would do is they would literally take that same exact ad and they would change one little tweak. So they'd go, okay, we're going to change the background from red to blue. Now, I'm here to tell you very simply, this does not work anymore. Andromeda does not allow this specifically to work. So what do we do instead? Instead, what we do here is we mark this concept to follow a single parameter. So for example, this concept could be UGC in car, meaning anyone who's in their car that's an influencer making user-generated content, that's the concept. It doesn't mean that we have to say a specific set of words. It doesn't mean that it has a hook that it follows. It doesn't mean that it's a kind of person. It just simply means that there's UGC in the car. We know that's a winning concept for us. So what do? We create dozens of variations of UGC in car. Old Facebook, pre-Andromeda Facebook, would have said, instead of UGC in car as a concept, it would have said, take that one piece of content and make a bunch of different cuts of it. That does not really work anymore. The only way that does work is in flexible ads, and that's a conversation for a completely different time. Don't get caught up on it. What you need to focus on is the concept that works for you and always creating iterations of this concept. So number one right here is an existing staple. It's an existing content pillar that we feel really, really comfortable with. And in this case, for the example I'm going with, it's UGC in car. Number two, This is what we don't know yet. And we don't know number 3 yet. We don't know number 4 yet. Our entire purpose is to stack as many concepts as possible. The biggest brands in the world, spending hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars per day, have dozens of successful concepts, even sometimes hundreds of successful concepts. Now, how do we figure out our second concept? How do we figure out our third, our fourth, our fifth? So clearing the whiteboard here, how do we figure out 2 and 3? This is called the creative flywheel. It is a very simple structure that everyone follows in order to create more successful, consistent creatives. You look at your competitors, you take a look at tools like Magic Brief, Motion, or even just using the free Facebook ads library. It doesn't matter. You look at what are your competitors running, what is a theme, a concept that you like that you think would work for your business. You create that ad. Anywhere from 4 to 6 variations of this ad or even more is completely fine. Just create a few different variants of this ad and this concept. After you create that ad, you upload and you wait anywhere from 7 days, even to 14 days. And don't forget, when you upload and you push this into your ads manager, you're dropping this into your prospecting CBO campaign. This is critical. After you upload those ads and you wait 7 days, we're looking at incremental attribution and new. We're looking at new incremental attribution. New incremental attribution is going to show us which ads actually drive the best value for our business. And then 2 things. We go back, we look at more competitor ads to find new home run concepts. And then number 2, we take the best performing incremental ads and we create new versions of them. This is the flywheel. You're constantly taking a look at what's going on in the market. You're creating new ads based on that. You're uploading and waiting somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks. You're evaluating with new incremental conversion attribution windows. Then you're looking at your competitor ads again. Once you evaluate and you analyze which actually works the best, you're then taking those ad concepts and creating more of them. And that's how you're going to find number 2, which we're just going to call new concept. So now you have concept number 1 and concept number 2. In time, you keep doing this every 14 days, every 21 days, whatever and how often you could actually produce creative. Constantly doing this is going to create a nice flywheel for your business where you always have new things being tested. That's eventually going to stack a lot of new concepts for you. And this is what nobody actually understands. Right. Okay, so let's look at these concepts one more time. We have number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. It doesn't even matter what's inside of these concepts. It's completely irrelevant for this conversation. It just matters that we have concepts of creative that work. Now, once we've established those concept pillars that actually work, old school Facebook, pre-Andromeda, would say that you just want to spend your money on the 1 or 2 creative concepts that do the best. So old school would try to find one of these that drives 80% of the purchases and that they could confidently spend money on. That's not how new school Facebook works. New school Facebook takes percentages of each of these concepts, distributes it to the right customers, the right audiences. So here's how this works. You could spend on creative concept number 1, 20% of your budget. You could spend 60% of your budget, leaving us with only 20% remaining of your entire budget. And you could spend 10% and 10%. You might even do something that's not uncommon at all and spend another 19% here and 1% here. Most people would see this and say, great, number 2 is my biggest winner. Number 2 is the one that I need to scale. No, you're wrong, because each of these is returning at different or ideally similar return on ad spends. For example, concept number 1 is only spending 20%, but it might do so at a 4x. The 60% might do so at a 3x, the 19% might do so at a 5x, and the 1% might do so at a 10x. These are obviously all made up examples, but again, the 2 issues that people run into is they say, well, number 4 looks awfully attractive. Number 4 only has the capability to spend 1. And if you could only spend 1%, that means it cannot scale. This is a huge issue. You never want to be and ever set yourself up in a position where you're only creating creatives that don't have the ability to scale, that drive high ROAS. That's going to put you at a huge bottleneck in your business. That's why you always want to have different shots on goal, different creative concepts, different pillars, because each of these are independently targeting different audiences. The way that I react to concept number 1 is very different than the way that you react to concept number 1, and the way that you react to concept number 3 is different than the way that I react to concept number 3. It has never been more important to have both diverse creative and high volume of that creative. So by now you should understand very clearly the importance of having a lot of different creatives and creative concepts, and exactly through here, how to create that flywheel for creating new creatives. But what I haven't gone through yet is what you're supposed to do once you have a successful concept. Once you have a successful concept, let's just pretend it's concept number 3. Your job isn't to wait to analyze and figure out which ads are going to work. You know, number 3 is a successful concept. So as many times as possible, you are creating more and more iterations of number 3 or variations or whatever you want to call them. You're creating more ads of a proven concept. You might say, what's the difference between number 3, number 1, number 2? They're all different pillars of content, and you're always on the hook now for creating as many number 3s as possible, as many number 1s as possible. Once they prove to work, no matter if they spend 2%, 60%, as long as they're achieving your target KPI and they're spending adequate amounts of budget that you actually know they're fundamentally working, it is your job to every single week create more and more and more and more ads that carry number 3, that carry the concept forward. And look, I know many people who are watching this video now have seen a bunch of my other videos where I go inside the ad platform and break down exactly how to integrate creative, how to set up, how to strategize your ad account. But I wanted to make this because I think this is falling under the rug with 99% of other videos out there. Your creative production and how you actually bring ads to the forefront of your ad account is one of the most important things to actually scale and achieve a profitable return on ad spend. If you want to see my full 2026 full structure strategy video, it is right here where I implement all of this and much more. You can click again right here. And that is all for today's video. Let me know if you got value out of this because this is a totally new concept.